you, and you thought we was going away. Nah, it's Speak Out.
But let me just reverse a bit and say good morning to the listeners of Vibes. Welcome to the program.
If I stay within my setting as a public officer, as the public relations officer, and I stay just within the office space and do not go out to the public, how will we understand what is happening on the ground?
Still delivering.
We've done a lot, not just in terms of the general infrastructure, but homes, support to farmers, support to fishermen, etc. And as time goes by, more support will be given to Carriacou and Petit Matli.
It's Speak Out Unfiltered. Built back, even better to last.
Let us all strive to build a better country by putting aside our petty grievances and move forward with dignity, being proud of working hard and working together.
Anything that we're doing now, it's futuristic thinking. It's not for the now.
Education is the key in a country's development. That's it. If its people are not developed,
Kim, don't go that far, no? Just remember, knowledge is power. When you know, you know.
that's it.
It's Speak Out Unfiltered.
We're happy to have you.
On Vibes 101.3 and 106.3 FM every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Do you feel the vibes? Going.
And we're going to pause for the calls and say good morning to you right here on Vibes FM. Welcome to the program Speak Out Unfiltered for today. We are looking at the 24th day of April. Good morning, good morning, good morning to our listeners inside the trial and state of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, Grenada. Good morning to you. Our listeners inside the Grenadines, we're talking about St. Vincent and also coming all the way down into Bakery, into Cana One, into Maroon, Union Island, and all the islands in between. Good morning to you, Grenada. Good morning. Petit Martinique, good morning again to you as you are locking it down to the program Speak Out Unfiltered every Thursday right here on Vibes FM. I want to remind you today would be a sort of a shorter version. We're going to finish our program just around midday today for those of you already tuned in. And what we're going to be discussing, the same format, everything goes on as usual. Inside our program, we want to remind you too that the telephone numbers to call to interact with us, 443-0101, 443-0101, and 403-0101. Also, we're going to call, you can also call us on 458-1914, 458-1914. Let me move right over into the middle and say good morning to you. So, Leo, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
What's up?
Fine, thank you. Good morning, my Redeemer. I am feeling okay. I hope you're feeling the same.
Mm-hmm.
And to whoever and wherever you are, within the range of Vibes 101.3, good morning. I think it's very appropriate that I say a happy birthday to my girls. Today is their birthday, so
that's nice.
Must say happy birthday to them.
Okay.
And know that we have a lot of heated topics to deal with and very little time to do so. I'll just pass it over to my colleague, Mr. Coy. I don't want to be too lengthy.
Coy.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Well, I don't think I want to speak after so Leo in that regard. I healed.
Yeah.
Is that what I said? I healed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice though. We have a little bit of a humor as always inside our program, you know.
Yeah.
And by the way, before we move into the thing, we're getting some showers of blessing, guys.
Yeah.
Rain is falling.
Yes.
Nice.
Pleasantly surprised this morning. I got up and I couldn't go walking. So, but I have to say, well, that's one disappointment is a blessing.
Yeah.
It's not a tragedy.
Yeah.
So,
It's not. And we're into the season where we're going to be celebrating as of tomorrow the Maroon, festival.
But isn't it a customary thing that whenever Maroon come, rain falls?
yes.
Well, the purpose of Maroon
It's a call for rain.
is to call for rain.
Yeah.
So we getting it in advance.
Yes, you look at somebody is thinking ahead of us.
So they need it.
Yeah.
We need it. You need it.
But of course, I don't want to put a different spin on it. But of course, there are a lot of people who, when they see rain falling or hear rain falling, they become uneasy. And we have to say a prayer for them because it's not an easy task to be bearing at this time. So all those of us, I would say, when rain falls, you feel a little bit iffy. I mean, it won't last long.
Okay.
It won't last long.
Well, class is open. Let me take our first call. Vibes FM caller, come in. Caller, you live.
Yes, good morning. King the King.
Yes, good morning.
This is a friend of the family.
Mhm.
I'm thankful to God that Uncle Leo is there. And by the way, would you please remember to tell them happy birthday on behalf of the bishop?
Okay, I will do
I'm
that.
glad that Uncle Leo is there at this time because in case you have to talk between now and midday about Maroon and Stringburn Festival, there's a difference because I'm one of those ancestral person, although I'm still talking alive. I would prefer that Uncle Leo get a chance to explain the difference between we celebrated the Maroon Fest as against a Stringburn Fest. And I know from where I'm sitting, it's because of economical benefits. But if we cannot separate it and we're going to keep it together, somebody need to explain it for those who do not understand why we do what we do in a season like this. God bless you. We are listening and we love you for your service.
All right,
Thank you,
so
my
much,
brother.
Dave.
We'll try when the time comes.
Okay. But what he just mentioned is, Solio,
Yes.
is very important, because we have sort of lost the true meaning of the celebration. And it was entwined, at some point in time with the strings.
Mhm.
And really, the maroon itself
Yes.
is a different thing altogether.
Yes, that ritual.
Yes, it is.
We lost the ritual, and
Yeah.
now we're talking about festival.
Yeah.
See,
But
there's a great significance to the maroon, the idea that we have as maroon originally. And I
But,
think,
you
as
know-
you quite rightly said, for economic reasons,
Yeah.
it's all merge them together. But and it seems to be what it is, that I don't know if we're going to go back to what was,
Mhm.
but it would be a good thing if we still understand the sentiment of the maroon and so on and so forth.
What you see is, especially now where we're in a situation where we're trying to sustain our culture
Mhm.
and make sure that, the younger ones understand, because if we don't put it out there now
Mhm.
for them to know what it is,
Mhm.
they might never know, what it was really meant to be or
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Yes.
So that still have to be entwined,
Yes.
educating them.
Absolutely.
I hear the caller concern about the inclusion of string band in the celebration, and I think it's important that we differentiate. And he's calling on you, Sir Leo, to explain that, because Maroon, in the days when I knew Maroon in the village growing up, there was no string band thing, and what has caused it now, I guess, the economics. But we need to keep our culture pure.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when somebody talk about an ancestors, we know who we're talking about.
Mhm.
We know what we're talking about, and the practices and so on. I see people commenting here, there, and everywhere. I'm still questioning, well, why they're throwing food in the sea? Are people hungry? You know, the kind of way.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying we need to give some clarity and understanding that the Maroon Festival is a festival that is part of our culture and the tradition, and it means this and it means that, and so on and so forth.
You see, you're talking about people hungry. People will be hungrier
If you enter the food,
if we show appreciation.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
will be hungrier
Yeah.
because there's some significance. Somebody called me, it might have been last week, and asked me, when did they remove thanks, the word thanks, from our vocabulary? Because people these days, thanks is an endangered word,
Yeah.
So we must understand that there are people on whose shoulders we stand. There are people who made it possible for us. So the life that we're enjoying, it didn't start with us. Somebody labored before to make a good life possible for us. And in essence, that has been Karaku all along. The ability to say thank you, I appreciate it, always caused us to get more. But you see, I've said so many times before, there are two things that I cherish, the Maroon being one, and our parents' plate. Because, my goodness, dead and gone, but still were instrumental in making you who you are. They made a big contribution to your life, and you should never, ever forget that. So the whole idea of the Maroon, when we are able to eat to our satisfaction from the crop that was given to us by some force,
Right. Yeah.
that force that gave us the crop that we could eat, we must be able to say thank you. And it may seem superstitious, no, but the significance of it should teach our youngsters how to appreciate gratitude, because thank you and please, again, are words that is tantamount to a deposit in the bank.
Yeah.
You'll get more.
Yeah.
You can withdraw from it at any time. So the idea of a Maroon, as we knew it back then, being done to say thank you for the crop.
Right.
And asking for more rain so that we could get more crop.
You know, I had to ask this question. In the past, Maroon used to be like, from my experience, that where a community come together, let's say in the corn season, in the planting, or not, planting season. Or
No.
Not
At the ripping season.
Yes,
at the end of ripping season.
Yes, I'm sorry, not planting. Yeah, so and people in the community, young as well as middle age, and those who can make it, the older ones, gather on one plot.
Yes.
And I remember doing it.
Yeah.
And we have this is my row, your row, and at the end of the end of it, and we do our rows. The garden is cleaned,
Yeah,
as it were. So that was the essence, in my view, of Maroon, coming together to accomplish one single thing. And in this case, the plants, our crops and so on, we look after it. So everybody come together is the point I'm trying to make.
Well, the two main crops of Carriacou, corn and peas.
Corn and peas.
Well, the corn is finished, they say, late August, September, you get green corn, but you rip it and you save it, waiting for the peas to bear.
Yeah, as soon
as the peas show face, which is around carnival time. And then Maroon.
And that's it.
Because we've gotten the crop that we sowed, we rip the crop now, say thank you.
Right.
So that.
But yeah, I mean, it is. But I really would like to see some clarity as far as definition and meaning, and how we as people together can embrace it and participate in a genuine way.
Yeah, again, you see, we embrace it by saying thank you. Somebody made it possible for us.
Yes,
there's a force out there. Good Lord, give us something to eat and something to feed on. We want to say thank you.
And this was throughout Carriacou,
Yeah, absolutely.
All the different villages, would have the Maroon, at different times. We usually, a Friday, they would do it, and it was a means of a way of, coming together as well.
And the most important thing about the Maroon, everything that is had during Maroon is free.
Right, yeah.
No money involved,
No, that's it, yeah. Yeah.
No money involved.
No money involved.
Yes. I get something, I give something.
Right, yeah. Everybody bring. Everybody bring.
Yes. No money involved.
Except there was once upon a time people used to bring what they're bringing?
What?
The big pan, a bowl.
Yes, Well, you
must have that.
Calabash and butter pan have to be in the mix.
Yes.
You must have butter pan. Yes. Remember you.
And you see again, as we mentioned in the beginning, in that we have now the twinning sort of of the two of them, which the strings were now, well, basically all year, but more Christmas time, you'd find a lot of the string bands, coming together to entertain, and celebrate the Christmas season. And but now twinning the two of them at the same time there, as you just mentioned, they may not be easy to separate. But still we need to identify them.
You see, what I'm a little worried about is the commercialization of the
everything culture.
Yes. And it's no longer a ritual, it's a for-profit festival.
Yeah.
And it loses its significance, its meaning.
That's the point I'm making.
And that we can't afford to have.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to convince these youngsters nowadays who the only thing is about a rhythm.
Right.
Not even the lyrics,
Yeah.
A rhythm.
Yeah. No matter what the lyrics say.
Yes, forget that. No time for lyrics. It's the beat.
That's what they're doing. And tomorrow morning too, in 6 Roads, the libation, I think they would begin somewhere around 6
o'clock. 6 o'clock. Yeah. Then again to the libation. Yeah. I mean, we want clarity. I'm saying that there should be clarity in definition and understanding the reason why we throwing water on the ground.
Oh God!
I'm not saying that we need to have some clear pathway of understanding. What do these things mean?
I was just attempting to have you break it down, because I was quite a grown man before I understood how the word libation.
Yes, libation.
And understand what it meant. Well, before it's throw water on the ground.
Throw water on the ground?
Yes, so I wanted you to break it down, put it in local balance.
Okay. Throw water on the ground.
Throw water on the ground. Yes.
But I mean, that's something that happens. It doesn't have to be only. It doesn't only have to happen in Maroon time.
No.
Because I know. I've gone into shops, village shops, for example, and the seniors there and they're taking a drink, and they say, "Boy, now what you want for the ancestors?" I mean, that in itself is the essence of libation, throwing water on the ground.
Well, let me say this to you. My wife is a sticker for a house being immaculate, clean. No, don't know anything anyway. But when those guys come and have no drink and they throw in water on the ground, she accepts it. She don't challenge that. she accepts it.
Or you could go ahead and do it.
Yes, go ahead and do it. Yes, like so. Clean as how your house want to clean. Make sure you throw water on the ground. It's part of us. That is us too.
Right.
Yeah. So you must do something. Remember, man, those who made it possible for you. the gratitude.
And it's something very important for us to keep and to remember as all through the years, because I remember growing up as a little boy, it was done and it's still been done, and we need to pass it on to make sure it continues.
Well, even in New York, as small as the basement is, you used to have middle parent split ever so often, to teach the children what our culture is.
Right.
And so I could remember one time, a good Jamaican friend of mine, he does metal ironworks and so, nice fella. So I invited him to a middle parent split.
Yeah.
So he came downstairs, he ate. I said, come, let's go upstairs, I want to show you something.
Mm-hmm.
So when they go up on the parent split in the master bedroom, he said, how about that?
How about that?
How about that? I said, well, let me tell you, now what that. Nothing voodoo is the significance of it.
Right.
I said, anything we do in the karaoke community, we want to include those who made it for us, our ancestors who go before us. So this you see here belongs to our parents and so on. You see, what a brilliant idea, boy. From no time, is a karaoke. You see, from no one. It's a brilliant idea, man. No bad man thing. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what do you say to those people? And you'll find more and more. You'll find this some people referencing those things as negative.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the parent split. Huh? I mean, and I know I know people used to go past behind the house, past behind the window, where the parent split is, and take a piece of thing in it and so on. And nothing happening.
No. Again, it's significance. That's what they're thinking. So those who feel sorry for us, I feel sorry for them, So they don't want to feel sorry for me, it's up to them. I feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for them, not me.
Because just yesterday, a friend of mine was saying to me, that they think it's time that they do a parent split, because they feel over the years they have gone through so much, and they're at a point now where they feel comfortable and they've been getting the blessings. So it's time to give thanks. And said to me, they have to organize a plate. I say, well, when I was, at my with my mother and everything like that, we never call it the plate, we call it a bowl. We say parents bowl. Because we want food.
Yes.
Plate was old enough.
But it was an annual thing, people like Rose Mackenzie, grandmother-in-law. A year don't go by. Same thing with my Aunt Jennifer in Leicester.
Yeah.
A year don't go by without a plate.
Yes.
You have to make a plate.
Yeah.
This is part of life.
When I say when to a plate, you ain't
well, you have a plate for is not plate, but it's a repast and thing and wedding and so.
Yeah.
But just doing a parent split, specifically for saying thank you to the ancestors, that too is dying,
Right, yeah.
That is dying. So that every now and again.
Again, people might not want to gravitate toward that because there are those who trying to make it look and be negative, in the sense of
people, things are economically things and times are different, and whereas years ago, if you're having a parent split, somebody might still bring a fowl. Somebody might still bring a bowl of corn.
Right, yeah.
And those type of things. People will help you on what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But now everything is a happy hour. Come eat and drink for free.
Yeah.
Probably cost about what to and then go back in business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think is contributing to it not happening as often as regularly as it did.
Somebody on the chat saying that say thank you to please who?
To please who?
Yeah.
Well,
to please who?
My answer to that?
Yeah.
My sympathy.
I mean, as I said, it is about understanding it.
Saying who brought you into this world so that you could now come and ask to please who. That is who is it for.
The next thing I want to talk on quickly, is the big drum part of it, where we had these singers and these people who really understood the language and the meaning
of what they were doing.
And we have sort of lost that.
Yeah, see,
we haven't lost it yet. The process is ongoing. If we are not arrested now, we'll miss everything.
But you see, what we should do, we should have it documented and in some sort of way so people could understand when it is the songs and what they mean the movements in the dance and everything like that. It all coordinates. You know?
Well, I was born in Carriacou, as very well known, and I was grown before I left Carriacou. And all my life I've been involved in things Carriacou and the Carriacou community. But it took Sugar Adams coming to New York to explain certain things to us as been sung and told in the big drum dances. But a lot of us here in Carriacou, again, we went to just observe the people dancing and so on, and didn't understand the significance of a lot of things.
That's it.
You understand? So had it not been for Sugar Adams, who was able to tell Leo Joseph, well, this song is about the division during the slave trade, when they'll take people and bring them to the Caribbean, and when they have a family that they see as a threat, they'll divide that family and send one guy to Haiti, one guy to Trinidad, one guy to St. Lucia, and so on and
They
so
could
forth.
communicate, yeah.
So I better understood that what we're talking about. So anytime you hear Sugar Adams and you hear him singing "Ele play with Molly, they play with you," that's what it means, and it's something that he loved. He always. He never would do a night without going to that. Talking about his history.
Yeah.
The language is so important, Solio. I myself, I appreciate that too. But why wasn't that taught? Why? I mean, even you don't have to go through a whole set of teaching, but just make the children be acquainted with the concept of those things, of those things. And even nobody taught us big drum dancing. Beating the big drum in school. I mean, as I say, it doesn't have to be a whole set of curriculum, but at least keep a presence.
Well, you see, you are your environment, you know. If from a thought you hear big drum beating and good big drum beating, you'll pick up something. You'll pick up something. In other words, if you're born in England, you wouldn't learn calypso rhythm. You're not attuned to that. Like punky and funky, but if you're born in Trinidad, it's soca. So your environment, who you are. So when those of us who have the opportunity to go to and listen to a big drum dance, you pick up certain rhythms, you pick up certain things, and certain songs. So that's what it's all about. But the official teaching of the big drum and the training and so too, you know, boy, is a generational thing, you know, because again in Carriacou, when I was here, I was going to big drum not to learn about the history of big drum. I was going to hear the drum cracking and people dancing and what they're saying.
Right.
So because I traveled and I had a different outlook on life and certain things that, you know, that meant more to me, then you delve in deeper and you look to learn certain aspects of the drumming and the culture. And even today, every time I think about it, I want to cry. This budding journalist, a Jamaican guy, the guy used to nag me, Leo, we must document the big drum. We must do a documentary on the big drum because it's so rich a culture. And even that time, for me, I wasn't hip enough to understand the importance of it. And that opportunity went by. So today we don't have a documentary on Carriacou big drum. Authentic big drum as we did.
Right. It's kind of sad that we don't have that in the way in which you're talking about it. Because I know that a lot of people left here use the opportunity to travel. There are people who went to Buckingham Palace. There are people who went up in the States as big drum players and dancers. But again, what happens after that? Nothing of substance was documented, or if it was, I mean, I don't know where it is.
Well, you see, one person who tried to do that though was the late Winston Fleury. Yeah?
Yes, I was just about to tell you that.
Yeah.
Because
he brought it all over as far as he could have gone.
It was Winston academically. I mean, he was the most astute person. Because you see, we started big drum long before. Winston learned to dance big drum in America, you know.
Yeah, I remember. Well,
that's solid. Because back in the day, he was this sophisticated, very conservative type of person. But when he's gone to America, lifestyle changed. He get loose, so to say. And he was responsible for a lot of our successes because he belonged to academia. I think Winston was a professional student, if you will. I think he never stopped going to school. So our connection with the universities, and most important of them all, Museum of Natural History. Winston was the one who made the connection.
Right, yeah.
And that Museum of Natural History was the greatest opportunity for us, because one of the coordinators there was a lady called Maria Yohara. She's from Santo Domingo, and she was as conscious as they came. So you see this steamboat thing?
Yeah.
That's how it came about, you know.
Okay.
Because the lady was so gung-ho about fighting for Caribbean connections and so on and so forth. They wanted to invite people from the Caribbean as a cultural exchange. Make a mistake and put it in Winston hand. Winston,
But that was it?
yes. Winston met up with Francis Jordan in San Diego history. But when they, by the time they find out what's going on, Winston, they can't blame me, Minister of Immigration. So who could come up? So
Right.
that's how Ski Boat came about, but it came about as a result of us dancing the big drum. And I could always remember, must always give credit to Neil John Bishop. She performed a kore at the Museum of Natural History, and it took Carriacou Big Drum in America to a different level. Don't you see?
Yeah.
When Neil was finishing her, when she finished her performance, there was a standing encore.
Yes.
And as a result, Pete Seeger is an American folklorist, but none. You know, if I had a hammer, or all the flour was gone, and it's gone. He is the guy who was able to sue DuPont for dumping chemicals into the Hudson River. And one, his thing was the clear water. So he came to us and asked us to open up for him at Brooklyn Academy of Music on Flatbush Avenue, not too far from Hanson Place.
I know it, yeah.
That was our biggest payday. Yes, we won. And when that happened, our next gig was at Restoration Plaza on Fulton Street. Black folks got into the mix. This is careful. So we performed live and in color from Muhammad Ali, you know. Yeah, man. I have a picture of me sparring Muhammad Ali and just
Not boxing though.
Yeah.
I mean, you
weren't boxing out.
You didn't raise your hand though.
Yeah. No. Well, me and my forward, he said, you know, he's a tricky fight fella.
Yes.
And as they come around, yeah,
Size up.
You come with you. Yeah, we performed. We played for him live, but after a while, boy, you know, and me a little busy headed and so on. You find all folks just get tired of things quick, especially in local. Big jump again, just as when the thing was getting ready to explode.
Right.
Because I mean, we really made
some headway though.
Big time. It's the first time when we went to Huddersfield in 1977 to perform. We went up there for a show on Saturday. We performed on Saturday night, and there was an immediate demand
for Sunday night.
Yeah, full house again.
Oh yeah,
full house again.
One is not enough.
One is not enough. We had two, because we had authentic Carriacou Big Drum and all the stuff. Yeah. So that every time I think about the time I spent, and that is why I'm eternally grateful to Kwashi, Christopher.
Yeah.
Christopher and the lady Bertie Alexander.
Yeah.
Those two persons were responsible for coordinating the English end of it. All came from America, and they did a perfect job.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, I mean, I hear we always. I mean, I've listened to us many times. I myself have said it many times. But I really think we should make that commitment to document it. So, Leo and Mr. Mills, if we do not do it, the next generation would not forgive us. The point is, we talk about it a long time, all the time. But I'm just saying, even though it's just one start, one sentence, let's begin. Somebody on the comment here is saying that it's not too late.
when I really started to get into it, when I was, getting closer to the later Winston Fleury, and I realized that he had all these documents and music and everything like that stored away. It's like a briefcase that you don't want to lose.
Yes, Winston.
Yes.
He ate and slept big rum.
Yes, that's it.
That was a passion.
So I happened to liaison with him a lot, speak to him a lot, and I was able to get some of the music, especially the live recording they did back in 1963. I think Lomax. I think.
No, that's later. The first, because we went to perform for Queen Elizabeth in '65. Lomax was nowhere around. Andrew Pierce's recording was done at the moment in 1956. So Lomax came afterwards. Lomax and Annette MacDonald came later on, but the first of it was in '56, and it was done by Andrew Pierce.
Okay.
The one here, May singing and dog barking during the recording and all that kind of foolishness. Yes,
okay.
that was Andrew Pierce.
Okay. Let me hold a second. Let me take a call quickly. Vibes FM caller.
Hello. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, but thank you.
Yeah, well, I come into the school, but maybe I came in late, but any case. I going back to 2022 election. When the NDC won the election, 9-6, and they go in office, they set up themselves, they put everybody in the position, and from that time, they start to walk, which is no walk, never hold up, nothing, never stopped. And but this NNP government now, they want to come and bash the government and say that they had that in pipeline and they had this and they had that. Why they didn't do it all the time? Why they didn't do it? But the NDC government right now, they ain't waiting for 1 year to come in front election, or they ain't waiting for 6 months to come for them to spread work all over just like wildfire. So I'm changing them. The name is wildfire for election. That's how it was operate. But the NDC, they are working. They are doing very, very good. And the NNP, that will never see whatever officer again. They will stay where they is. They will never come back again, and he will never go in this black BP or whatever. He will never ride in his van again. Because it's ever here. He told me that Tilman Thomas, he was sitting where the red flammer of the red hands was sitting. Yes, I heard it.
Okay.
And the project in St. Patrick, which is the Hermitage Google Bailey Hill. Mr. Thomas and Mr. Nagenborg, they appreciate that for the job. And the Pointsville again bridge, that was in the hands of the NDC. Check, and the NNP come and do it. And you could never see the Prime Minister or any of them going in front of the camera, the media, and say that they do this and they do that. So let the NNP and them stop there. Work is there to do, and the work have to do.
Okay. All right.
Have a good morning.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, all right. Listen to this.
Yeah.
So Leo never really understood what was really going on there.
That's a Temne. Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Remember a couple of years ago, some folks came from Sierra Leone. They were looking to reconnect with the Temne Nation people.
Yeah.
So that one is we refer to it as a Temne dance. Right? And the drumming, that was the late Great Sugar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Is a fellow who, if you give him a what you call a fuller, just give him a rhythm.
Yes.
And he'll change so many patterns to that fuller. That's what made him the Great Sugar Adams. And now we don't listen. That's steady rhythm.
Yeah.
And man, it creates so much different patterns in that rhythm. That's what made him so great.
Yeah.
Sugar Adams, that's Temne piece.
Okay.
Yeah. cherub. That that thing like planting and block. That like anybody could dance that.
Well, that's the one I used to love.
Well, you have to go.
look for. Say, come on now, when we go get the
cherub, the little planting and block,
Oh,
yeah, that planting and block, not cherub,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's very cherub.
I tell you. I mean, our culture is so rich.
Yeah, man.
And because it's so rich, and because of what it means for us, and all the things that we are doing now, like the Maroon and all these things and so on and so forth, we should really have a festival.
The one that the one we always had a problem with is the manding. The drumming for the manding. Sugar up to this day, he didn't give us a pass back on that one.
Listen to the cut drum.
Yeah, actually the pattern.
Yeah.
I could hear the combination.
You could hear it,
Prince Lawrence, Danny Lickins, and Sugar. That is commerce. Plenty commerce past when you're near the street.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Lickins and what?
Sugar pattern. Yeah.
It's amazing how they keep this rhythm.
Yeah.
And changing the rhythm in because of the cut drum,
Well, the cut drum, yes. But Prince Lounge, we call it the fuller.
Okay, right. Yeah.
The fuller, the bass drum.
That's the bass drum.
And the second drum will come in. And yes, this group, you have to keep that rhythm for them and leave him to do his thing. And he'll do the rest.
Right.
Mind you, some fellas who probably never got the credit that they deserve, but was just as well. Not he didn't change patterns, but rolling the drum, Haynes Lambert.
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh boy, Haynes was a snare,
Yeah.
And you see, you hear the difference. These guys used to get the goat skin, dry it, and stretch it, and then you must have your 3 pins to give it a song of a snare. You understand?
I only learned about the purpose of the strings,
The pins.
The pins.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah.
Because I used to understand why they take the time and pass around this string around the top of the drum or the side, like. But what I realized, when you hit it, it gives it that kind of
that snare sound.
Vibes FM, color.
Brother Kim,
Yeah.
What?
I just wanted to make mention that I become aware of what we did for Maroon because I spent multiple years, probably I made 20 trips into Ghana and Nigeria. And although I serve as a missionary, when some of the guys get up to dance what is called a nation dance, they would forget these frustrations.
Yeah.
I took one of our local Karaku person with me in 2003. And when she heard the drums, because we still have drums in the churches there, when she heard the drums and she started to perform, a Black American woman said, "My God, the anointing is upon her." I said, "No, stop the drums." It was the anointing of the ancestors. So that's why I'm asking Uncle Leo to let the people know, especially the young people, what's the differences. Something that was missed out. I grew up in the early days, and I could remember my mother had 2 mass every year. One of the mass that was very popular in the 60s was the Requiem Mass, where they remembered the parents that came and whatever contribution they made in their life. All young people need to realize, because somebody said they heard that I am coming to spend some quality time in your country, Uncle Leo, and Mr. Coy. And they said that I'm coming after I am crossed 70 so I could die because I can afford the funeral expense here in Brooklyn. But I'm not coming to die. I'm coming so that I heard Uncle Gio say, all you're making fish pot anymore. And I know to make a fish pot. So I could open a school in Granby and teach all you how to make fish pot with wire.
Yeah. And mango
And
wood.
Dr. Wood.
Yes.
The mango
yes,
wood.
Yes. And Pupito.
Listen, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, man. You could.
Let's do what we have to do while it is day.
Yeah.
I thank God that you guys mentioned Mr. Fleury.
Yes.
And I know if he did write some of the things that I anticipated he would have written, all is not lost. Koi is so young and he doesn't know half of what we're talking about. So he could take up from where some of those guys left off, so that when I would have gone to heaven, as many people think I'm on the verge of going, the young fellas like Koi were able to say, when Grandpa was around, this is what happened. And the reason why it happened. And it enlightened me because I spent 20 years, or I made 20 trips into West Africa. I heard mention was made of Sierra Leone and our people.
Yes.
And some people doesn't know where our people come. I'm thankful to God for those who came and the benefits of them coming. But let us not forget them. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
God bless you guys.
Okay, thank you so much. And what he's saying there, the connection with Africa is real. It's very, very real.
Let me tell you, I think most of us, well, I think there's some certain amount of mistakes among our local folks here and your nation, how they attribute nationhood to you. You know, you have Igbo, you have Comantin, you have all those different ones. And I was telling somebody who came from Ghana, a parish priest, I said, they told me I'm Igbo. He said, no. He said, Igbo people are the most arrogant. And say, you cannot be an Igbo. I don't care what you tell me, you cannot be an Igbo. So he said something else from Ghana.
Okay.
I don't understand. Life in Ghana is very similar to ours here.
Yeah.
Even more so than Nigeria, but West Africa and Ghana is all equal.
But speaking about the drumming too, I remember in my visit to Africa, and when I heard the drumming, is when I was able to really make that connection to Karaku. I said, this is us. Yeah. This is we. Right there and then, I realized, I said, well, we hear a lot in our history. We speak a lot about it, but sometimes it's just told to us, but the experience make that connection just right away. And I said to myself, okay, that's where we come from, the motherland. That's it. But just a little bit more before we wrap it up.
Me 14.
But you listen to the voices though?
Yeah, that kind of hoarseness.
Yes.
That is I was calling it the Rod Stewart a big jump.
Yeah.
Come on, team. Hear the hope?
Yeah, right.
Holding it. Come on, team.
Okay.
Sugar man.
Now, one thing that amazed me, if you listen to Me Fortune Day and you're leading, the vocals, right? She's dancing. She has the shack.
Yes.
She's giving instructions. Listen, she's doing everything.
but because she and Sugar, they were partners,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And if you want to see a good command. Or even Harley Cod, when Made Dancing and Sugar play, and you see Sugar's eyes on
her.
Oh,
Yeah.
every move she makes.
It coordinates with
Yeah,
the drum.
yeah. It's a love,
like they're reading one another.
Yes, you see, because we used to just be jump pack and say,
Yes.
no, you have to know when to roll, when to wheel, and so on and so
Right,
forth.
right.
There has to be a coordination there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sugar and me.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time I remember seeing a performance,
Mhm.
and they were just coordinating so nice.
Yeah.
When she's ready to wheel or wherever,
Yeah.
and go towards him with the left-right movements and the feet movements.
If you remember, there's a group called Semande, and they had a song years ago called Bra. And they think tuk with that romantic going ho. But nowadays you dancing command here, ain't nobody even ringing a ho. Or something. So there's a method to the madness.
Right.
Oh, you don't see command opening ringing a one and chasing this spiritual column, whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That ring a ho and that rhythm.
Yeah. But we need to keep it alive.
People are following
yeah.
somebody in the comment here saying that I just came back from Ghana and I felt as if I was in Grenada.
Yes, Ghana is us. Ghana is us.
Yeah. I mean, to take out the cultural aspect of it now, but I think the direction that our prime minister is heading, where he's trying to forge a closer connection
with Africa,
Liberia, Ghana, all these places, Sierra
Leone, Sierra Leone.
And this young fellow now who is now become the leader.
I know.
Yes. So I'm just saying we need to establish that link, so we can revive all those connections.
What a first time! You see what the guy said? Forget US aid. We must have African aid.
Right. Yes.
So he's sending trucks, food stuff, and all this kind to the poorer ones. Yes. That is so
good. So we need to clamp that down. We need to ensure that we just don't talk about the connection, but we establish it in real time, and let our children and grandchildren understand what we are talking about.
Yeah.
When we talk about
Vibes FM, caller, come in.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, listen. You mentioned about the job as one thing, but I don't hear you calling the Lambert brothers' name, hence Canil and Titus Lambert.
Well, you're listening good? You're listening? Just a couple minutes ago I mentioned Haynes Lambert, Haynes Canil and Titus. I was talking about Haynes in the sense that he's the best ruler I know.
Yeah, and Colilendo and
Colilendo say roll tie. Matai, all them things. Yeah.
And Sebol.
Yeah, we missed that, but we did. We didn't talk about Colin yet or Segol, which is arguably the two best dancers of all time.
But Colin Leonard to dance violation, dancing the issue to dance to be top.
Yeah. which is true. Yes. She was featured on the cover of National Geographic, On the cover, not center page, the cover.
There was something said about her too.
Yeah. She was a butterfly.
Yeah. That was the best dancer in DBH.
Yeah, yes, man.
Well, okay then, bye.
Okay, bye.
Let me take another call quickly. Vibes FM caller, come in.
Yeah. Yes. Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Good morning, professors. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Very, very interesting lesson this morning.
Yeah.
And Mr. Coy, you took my thoughts. As making reference to the Prime Minister's move towards our ancestral home.
Yes.
In Africa.
Yes.
This would be a very good time, I think, to bring back all these memories. I'll tell you what. I'm suggesting, I put something in the chat. I'm suggesting that you three meet with the ministry or the Minister of Culture and really, really encourage and push to do something. So, Leo, I know you have that kind of influence. Mr. Kim and you too, Mr. Coy, have that kind of influence. So this is something that we should not die out. I think what the problem is, Grenadians are not as familiar with the culture as you are in Caracou. Karakou kept the culture alive over the years. But we in Grenada kind of become Americanized.
Yes,
okay,
it's
yeah.
Over
true.
the years. So that is part of the reason that the culture is dying out. You know,
Mhm.
Karakou is a close-knit community.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They have that kind of unity and they pass on their traditions over the years. So I think now is the time. And when I say no, I mean no is the time
Yeah.
that you folks should have a real sit down with the Minister of Culture, with the Prime Minister, and discuss ways and means. Because from what I learned from history, Africans never wrote the history down.
Mhm.
It was passed on word of mouth. What they used to call it, the
All right.
grill?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. It was passed on word of mouth from one generation to the next. So there's not a lot of documentation,
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
things. It's more the oral history.
Mhm.
So as I want to repeat, no.
Okay.
No.
All
It's
right.
the
Not
time
tomorrow.
to get together.
No, as in yesterday.
Because we're making that push. Right.
Yeah.
Not yesterday, like last year. Now
But-
is the time to make that push.
Yeah.
Seeing that the Prime Minister has opened up our eyes and ears and avenues to link with Africa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really like this conversation this morning. It is an eye-opener.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the next phase because so you I hear you say you're cutting off early. But we have the four new caretakers to take care of.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the next phase.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good
The
then.
new
Thank
phase.
Have a great one.
Okay, take care.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Kim,
Yeah.
I think that we should give as much emphasis on the dancers and singers because they complete the whole package of big drum dancing.
Uh-huh.
Big drum. This lady in Brunswick there.
Lucien Duncan.
Oh, boy.
Lucien Duncan.
Yes, I'm saying
Let me
as
tell you.
dancers,
Watch.
dancer.
Mhm.
And
Yes. Let me she had a way of dancing that I think she used to call it the peacock. Is it peacock?
Yeah. I know what.
Yeah.
The head goes one way. But it was real. I mean, when I saw it for the first time, I said, wow.
Because
Lucien Duncan.
Yes, it was that.
She was one of those dancers.
Well, you see, Lucian inherited from the masters and the mistresses. This again. If you had the opportunity to see Segul dance, or Kolilendo, or some less one, those people are classics.
Yeah.
And I don't know how is it that they complain the foot in them whole day.
Rheumatism?
Arthritis, rheumatism, outside drum start that gun. Arthritis and rheumatism had to find a way because they dancing and the dancers were 13 years old.
Well, I remember, on two occasions. Once they were in a big drum dance. I don't remember his name now, but he was not able to walk.
Mhm.
But when the drum started to beat,
Yes.
when I saw him inside the room,
You wonder what happened?
I said,
What happened? Yeah,
and
That's therapy, big drum is therapy.
and that he coordinated his dance, and there was certain time when the feet was lifted off the ground, and when it comes down with the cuts. Listen, watch this. I mean, our history is so rich.
The mind.
Yes. And even the late Winston Fleury. I remember after he lost his leg, right?
Yeah.
And he was performing. He was beating the drum one time, in the and all of a sudden he got into the ring because he was beaten and something must have taken him out of the seat. When he started to dance, I looked at him and said, "Wait now, this one leg. I mean." The artificial leg that he had there, he was like a real human being with no disability.
Yep.
The drumming. So after that, I asked him, I said, "What happened?" He just was smiling to me because he realized,
Yeah, in hope, man. Yes.
Yeah. So the dancers, the drummers,
yeah,
and all these completely complete the whole big drum experience, and that we should document, that we should promote and encourage our youngsters to. But I'm seeing young people these days. We have a group of young people in Caretakers, LV, for example. You know them, Patricia John.
But the CCO?
Yeah, CCO. And
Fitling George too.
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
all you know, these young, well, I call them young. Yeah. I've been doing something, and we have to expand that, not just them, but all in schools.
But there was one time a performance was done at the Hillsborough Tennis Court, I remember. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Kristen David.
Kristen, yes.
Yeah, she was narrating the history of the dances and everything.
CCO,
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think this is something that we should hold in our thoughts and secure it, because that is the only time I've heard any explanation
of the
dances.
Talking about that, I heard that she's not too well enough. We must remember her in our prayers.
Okay.
But when it comes to culture, they're the ones, you know.
Well, yes, when we belong to already, that's
they have it. They have it. And even the outfits that they wear, which is so appropriate for the dancing. But what I've not seen much is the petticoat, the white petticoat.
That's what I was going to tell you. Well, that's the key. That's the key piece of garment, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, man, the petticoat are pretty.
Yes.
Not pretty, but pretty. The petticoat are pretty. Or if your petticoat and pretty, you say nothing.
Because you see what happens. The top outfit, you know, it's split. You have to open it. Right.
So what?
When you open it now,
the petticoat stand.
Petticoat. Boy, I mean, we really reach our culture, and we should try our best, you know, to maintain it. And,
but you see, and you know, I think I mentioned once we were doing a performance at Mahalia Jackson High School in Brooklyn, and I said to them, I want to thank those who say that Caretakers is behind God's back. I want to say to them, thank you, because the mere fact that we're behind God's back, they weren't able to infiltrate and spoil the culture.
Yes.
So we survive because of our remoteness.
Yes.
And we're proud of that, you know. We remain who we are. Yeah. And that's important. So if you want to think of behind God's back, thank you. Leave me alone. Live with it. Yeah.
You know, I think we have also heard conversations about, and one time we used to talk Papa here.
Yeah, of course. We know French once.
Well, yes. But
so check on your names here, Bosejou, Jalou, Carenage, yes, Chapeau, all of his French.
Yeah,
Belair, French, yes, it's French. Most of our names are French. And I mean, the British took back Caracou, but they left the names intact.
Yeah. So all these cultural things, we need to package all of them. Our African connection, the patois. Of course, we do not do that much now, but in places as St. Lucia and Dominica, Papatois is heavy, like an ordinary daily language.
Yes.
And all these things are things that we need to have there. This whole package, Patois, Africans.
But one time I was talking to an elder, you know, and I asked about a different language and why they speak it, you know. And the explanation they gave to me is that at certain times, the elders in the conversation,
confidentiality, you call that,
right? Yes, didn't want people to realize what they were speaking about.
Well, that was
so they changed the language, and they're able to communicate. And you there, and you basically lost, you know, because.
Well, in my family, I always credited for being a nosy and forward little fella. So anytime I go upstairs and my mother and my big brother talking,
they change it.
They change it going patois. Look Leo, look Leo coming.
This little boy is.
Yes.
Where you going now?
and so we have lost that.
Yeah.
We have so much,
Yeah.
I mean, so much that in our history anyway. Are looking at the time,
Yeah.
And we have another topic we have to deal with. So let me just give a little bit of a
time to the callers.
A little this, and then get to the callers.
See, man. Here, jump, here, control button.
Quiet. Oh, loving it. Loving it. Got drum. I tell you. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Well, we start tomorrow with our celebration of the Maroon Fest.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a big success. Huh?
Okay.
Okay. Let me start to take some calls now. Let me see. The calls are all been lighting up like crazy all morning. So the lines are open again. 443-0101. 443-0101 and 403-0101. Also 458-1914. Vibes FM. Caller your life. Caller, come in. Caller.
Good morning, Kim.
Yeah, morning. Yes.
Well, then, I tried so long. I'm glad you take my call. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Not a tragedy.
Well, I realize now that everybody start to give you all honors. Everybody calling you all professors, everything. You said the trainer. This morning, I want to give all you a bigger honor. And I will say to the team, the history book. Because this morning is a different topic. It's a real high level. So this morning is considered welcome to the history book, what is right on Carriacou and Petit Martinique, extend Grenada. But it's more about Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Correct.
It's a real healthy piece this morning. So Leo, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
And so Leo.
Hey, good morning, sir.
But you know my topic already as a hardliner.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Something come to my surprise, and I lie down the whole last night, and I think, and I'm reflecting back. I didn't know NNP was interested in young people, putting young people to run. I thought young people didn't have no experience.
Good point.
And in know what going on and all kind of thing. But I remember when you're young and you used to make a ring with girls and boys. They all them little boys trying to hold hand with a girl. Instead of holding your brethren hand, you're trying to be in the middle of two of them so you could get like a whole hand. And they had this thing, the girls and the whole ring going around, and they say anything Pansy do, we can do it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
yes, okay. Anything NNP do. Yes. Do you all realize that NNP trying to follow them? I know if all they look at it to that extent, but it's going on.
Yeah.
There's some new take cares for them in some different countries, but that's the big thing too. Don't talk about the one in tongue. Who did launch when? Is Tuesday or last? Is Tuesday last week? Time flying so quick.
Yeah.
The DLE one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Christopher.
Father waiting for senator and son is minister. You could imagine that. You know what's going on there. You know, in them NNP in power, that DLE one does beyond. We have if we have 50 board, he does beyond 69. I know he does beyond 69 board. Because according to the slogan, he's an economist. You understand?
Yeah,
he's an economist. These blight on them. You're so conniving. I want to say good morning to my NBC family and Kevin, especially to extent. And you're doing a good job in Carriacou. But what I understand too, I listened on last week, although I was on, but I ain't touch on it. But that replacement of a new Cox, it is in the pipeline. But I don't know how far they reach it. I know him. And I don't know if you hear anything, Kim. I don't know if you say it as a joke, but that talk coming up from another person who relate, who have roots in Carriacou and who born in Carriacou, in the Brave Boy family. And that Cox they're talking about is a young Cox. He was a teacher in Presentation Boys College. and he had transferred to Carriacou to teach in one of them, like National College. They have a branch of the, I just forget what the right name of it. He teaches in that. That is a youth man confronting, I think Mr. Call Kim, you should know him. I don't know if Soli or know him too. But is anything with cops, all you should know it, although he has some good and some bad. But that one is a good brother. He's a good brother. But that was a Cox. They wanted to, they have talks with two. I don't know to what extent, but they definitely had some talks with him of recent behind the scenes.
Uh-huh.
So I'll just give you a little hint on that.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
But it makes no difference because if you hit a 6, you umpire can signal 4. You understand? And that is all Kevin hitting now. He's only 6. Then once you're behind the rope, hold your head, So, ball rolling on the ground to say you will block it with your foot, you can hold your head.
Okay.
So he's bypassing the boundaries and them.
Yeah. Straight in the stand.
You understand? It's like you're playing in Queen's Park, and every time you hit a 6, the ball dropping in River Road.
Dabo.
No, Dabo stays straight if you're coming from the pavilion. But you have to go over that main stand. The ball in River Road. That's the amount of powerful Kevin hitting that ball.
And what
Kevin is a strong young fella,
Yeah.
But Kevin staying focused and DC staying focused. Tessa making boy, I hear we making some progress in Grenville. All you will hear about it soon. You remember last week I touched on it? But NDC is doing good.
Yeah.
But our biggest surprise, and never known every project NDC do as Culture Man say, but not Culture Man alone. That's the talking Grenada. Where is your project? So what about NDC project? What they do? When Nazim and them get project, and the same Peter David when he was in NDC. That same River Road project what Peter David and them was doing the under NNP. That was an NDC project when he been there,
Okay.
He should have corrected that and tell him, look, that project was under me,
But you see,
But he didn't have no choice. I think he waiting in the pipeline to say. So the fight will be women. Them and Peter go have a good one for why he going down.
Well, we waiting.
All I just want NDC people, they don't get caught up with it. Let we stick together. Let we stick with Carriacou, with Petit Matney. As I tell you, we're looking strong all around, but definitely we're looking strong with 9 of them now. We move from 7 to 9.
Yeah.
strong. So the nether 6, we right there,
Yeah.
Right there, we in front of them, but that distance, 50 to 70, that's still too close. We have to reach in the 90s.
Okay.
You understand?
All right,
So
Colin.
NDC doing a good job, and I'm glad to know that everybody is giving you all the honors. So today is the history book.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Colin, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. And let me remind our listeners again, 443-0101, 443-0101, 403-0101, and 458-1914. And let me ask our callers too, because of limited time on the program this morning, we ask that you try to make a contribution as short as possible to give each and everybody a chance, to get the views out, okay? Now, let's talk about caretakers. Caretakers. Before we even get to caretakers, in Carriacou, they had some executive, a new executive just formed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
the NNP.
Okay,
NNP. They just formed a new executive. Yeah.
They had a meeting recently.
I look at the executive, and tears run from my eyes. I'll be honest with you. It's a lot of mercy. It's like a drunken man holding onto a straw, or in water, and just holding onto anything, put his hand up in the air, holding onto wind to save himself. NNP in Carriacou finish, They're done.
Who's the chairman now?
They have a new chairman, yes. This guy came from the States.
Well, I heard him saying that he's here now to bring back NNP to its
original state.
Original state, in state of when it meant something to Carriacouans and Carriacouans or NNP. But I also remember that the last person who came here from New York as a lawyer to represent Carriacou didn't turn out so good, you know.
No.
That person did more damage than Beryl because Beryl we could build back. But since after that guy Carriacou turned Humpy Dumpy, you know.
Yeah.
Sat on the wall, had a great fall and all the things. We still can get together again, you know.
but the
you think it's easy?
What's amazing, you know? Well, there's a lot of questions been asking, you know, because you just mentioned the term lawyer.
Yes.
But people are questioning the term lawyer, what it really means, and if this one is a lawyer for real.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, because people are asking where did he practice, you know, and what is what is the record is all about. But anyway, we ain't watching that. That's beyond this.
Inside job.
But the thing about it is that coming in now as an insertion, you'd ask the question, well, we come out.
Yeah.
Where is Cox guy been?
Where you there?
No. Well, when you see
Parachup,
what I know, so I gotta get off the guy because I want to give the gentleman, this is Kayokwan, I know the family. I want to give him a fair opportunity to come to Vibes 101.3 where you'll find friends and family so we can have a discussion pertaining to NDC's performance in NNP, not NDC, NNP's performance in Carriacou that you're touting and you want to bring it back to those glory days. We don't see NNP's performance in Carriacou at any point in time as something that we could boast.
Well, asking as you just extended an invitation, I would do it personally though.
Yes, come.
We go wrong.
Yes, it's fair. Give you.
Give me a chance to come
as the chairman of the party. As the chairman of the party of the party's work in Carriacou.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please, and we want to promise you be super civil because, and you know, as everything else,
we are always civil, sir.
Yeah, because that apparently didn't get to the other cocks. so I know what happened to this cocks. That he think that might be. You know, we might be adversarial, but we're not. So please come.
Cox 1 and Cox 2.
Cox 1 and Cox 2.
Let's take a call, guys. Hold on, because we don't want to run out of time too fast. Bye, Japan. Landline caller coming.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, yes.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
I was sitting here and listening about the big jump thing. I had the experience of coming in the trade center with Mr. Winston Fleury. And when he started, before he started the jump, he said, one, whosoever can stand that go outside. Because that jump will pick you up from your foot and bring you up. And when he started that jump to crack, you could see people twisting and winding up themselves. No, this African thing is a calling, eh? Big people in society, sometimes when they're walking and they hear the drum, they just try to duck off. But that getting back to Africa and your thing, and even though you have African here, they're in your village, and you trying that they could speak it to you. Two of you had the same color skin, but they're still trying not to teach you. So I'm glad, you know, that you could come out, especially that drum. I remember Mr. Pierre talking about that drum. When you hear that drum, you just call you. It's like something coming up from the drum from your foot, and you have to move, come in the ring. If you don't come, and you're trying to think how to run. So nice to hear it, you know.
Okay, very good. Okay, caller. Thank you so much, Jay. Okay, we continue taking the calls. 443-0101-403-0101. You can call.
I have heard stories about the use of the drum, as I mentioned that. Not going back to it, but drum used to be used as a calling, as a method of calling others at a distance. Yeah, so drums, I mean, amazing. The drum is so important and significant, and we still don't have it. As a matter of fact, I think we should have it on a flag.
Yes.
All right. Vibes FM. Landline caller coming. Caller coming. Caller, yes, you're on.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm very much interested in the program this morning. And you mentioned leader. You mentioned the country very briefly. Burkina Faso.
Yes, that's right. That's it.
Yes,
right. Now I listened to a documentary on that program. I'm so pleased with this young ruler, this young leader, and he reminds me of our young leader here. Now, although you are asked to be brief, but I want to be a little give me a little time to say what I'm saying. Now, when I listen to Donald Trump and how he's running down black people in America and what he's doing to them, now I was saying if our leaders in Africa were not so covetous, greedy, they would have used the resources of Africa and developed our country, and now our people would have been going there rather than running to Africa and the other parts of Europe. But
America.
when years ago, I don't know if you are young enough to remember Patrice Lumumba, yes, and Nkrumah. Now these are leaders we have to take our hearts off. So these are leaders who are prepared to develop ideally, to develop our country. But we have some leaders now, they're greedy, they're taking the resources of Africa, spreading it all over Europe on the name. So Europe is developing Europe with our money. And these leaders in Africa not thinking of developing the country for the benefit of the people. And that's why I'm so proud of this young man in Burkina Faso. I don't know if I call him the name properly. And I want other leaders in Africa to follow his example. Now, I know anytime you start something like that, they're ganging up with those racist imperialists in Europe to kill you, as they did Patrice Lumumba. But I want the African leaders to get away from this, imperialist and colonial slave mentality, and study to take our resources. I want to say our, as a black man, to take the resources in Africa and develop the country so that we wouldn't have ignorant racists like Trump running his mouth on our people. I mean, I wonder what happened to leaders like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and those fellas, allowing Trump to do. This man is a threat to the whole world. People don't realize that. That man could cause a world war and alienate or whatever the word is, or the whole of the world. They don't realize how an ignorant man is a very dangerous person to put power in his hands. And that's what the American people did last November. So they must realize what they're doing. And I feel sorry, very sorry, for our people who have to undergo this kind of humiliation in America under Donald Trump. So the African leaders, and I remember some time ago I was reading on the Observer newspaper in Europe, where the Minister of Technology, he was salting his money in America. And one of his colleagues said to him, man, why are you taking money and sending it to Africa, to America? Why don't you leave the money in Africa to develop the country? And the minute time he said that, we don't hear about him anymore. So that shows that these African leaders must wake up and get together to develop Africa for the benefit of the black people. That's all I want to say this morning.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's continue keeping the lines open. 443-0101, 403-0101. Now, last night, they announced some caretakers. And 4 caretakers were launched last night, okay? But before I get into the caretakers, we're going to call them caretakers. But according to Diablo, they're not supposed to be called caretakers, because he doesn't believe in caretakers. He says caretakers are not appointed until there is an election. But all of a sudden now, like the tone changing, like they like the word caretaker now. Listen.
So my next question, as you're on the topic of new blood,
yes,
there have been rumors circulating that there is a new caretaker in her constituency as well. What is your response to that?
No, I think the General Secretary answered that quite well. There's no caretaker. There is no caretaker for any constituency right now. We don't have an election. I am the representative for Northwest, so you may define me as caretaker for Northwest St. George's. But the party has not said that I am a caretaker
the constituency. As representatives, I have to have a role. So therefore, there will be no such thing as the appointment. The executive is the one who makes those decisions, and the executive has not made any such decision. The General Secretary made that very strong point when asked publicly.
No caretakers. He doesn't believe in caretakers.
Well, of course,
caretakers.
He was the one in charge at the time, but now he's not the one in charge. So I mean, he can. Well, I mean, still for all, he is the chairman of the party. So I mean, but I don't understand.
But so the caretaker now comes into play, right?
Yeah, I guess they come into
So
play now.
okay, but in what you just played, brother just played there, he says no caretakers until a general election.
You're right, because it will be taken care of. Let them come.
Well, caretakers. Now, who is going to get the first set of licks?
Who?
In the south, we have Christopher D. Ali Jr.
That is a sacrificial lamb too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
To go up against Andy.
Yeah, sacrificial lamb to number 2.
No.
Call again.
Okay. All right. Let's continue. Wait, how do you say?
Central.
Which
St. David.
St. David's?
St. David.
Okay. St. David's is Nolan Thompson.
Well, that's the fatted calf. Wait. This one. What?
Serious? I mean, really.
Wow.
I mean, St. David's, the South. I mean, really.
Let's sacrificial lamb and fatted calf. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, let me go in St. Patrick's West,
yes,
where Joseph Andal is. Gilani George.
And that might be the prodigal son. Here they come. Wow.
Okay, so that's 3.
That's 3.
Let me go in St. Andrews Southwest, where Leonard Andrews is. That's Toes. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Amanda Japal.
Where's the other one?
I don't need. So I pass. I take a pass.
But it is interesting. Very interesting for these people who have been identified as caretakers. I was reading through their profile somewhere else, not really know, but and I see that they seem to have some. They are presented as having good qualities in terms of academics and what they do and so on.
But you know they're observing all this? Kid is a very careful gambler. He gambling when he could afford to lose. They not plenty money. None of them have plenty money. So.
Yeah.
Yes, he could afford.
Vibes FM caller? What? Yeah.
Good morning. Again, it's me again, one good man. I'm proud to say I'm one
Hey,
good man.
how you do?
You know, I've been speaking out on many issues, but the 2 main issues I've been speaking out is on the seed program and the agriculture program. You know, I'm not a politician and I don't support any political party. And I just want to be quick and brief. You know, I'm still here suffering as a farmer. I haven't really heard or seen or anything. And I tried contacting even down to this morning, and the goodly gentleman would answer his phone. I don't know why. I mean, that's an agriculture minister. Not only just 1, but 2, and that's how it's going. I mean, listen, I want to say something to you. We are all free to discuss whatever we have to discuss, and there's no problem with that. I love that. I like I've been laughing. You know, when you call against who against who, and the nicknames and what. I've been laughing. Yeah. But I want to say something very, very serious here. You know, when I was locked up in the Richmond Hill prisons, and I had a dream and I saw something. I saw a political leader coming from there, and I thought it was Winston White. And then Tillman Thomas is the one that came out. But you know, when this present government won the election, I saw this present man, well, in the past 2-3 years going now, I saw him 5 times. And I can tell you just recently, I saw another destruction coming to the earth. I saw another destruction coming to this land. And I see myself in a wheelchair and doing most of the work, cleaning up a bit of road. I mean, right now, as I'm speaking to you, I am in the middle of a road called Dixon. And I can tell you, since after burial,
I've been in my wheelchair with a cutlass operating as a travel. You know, I'm cleaning the road. I mean, they make me laugh because they come with some bitumen to patch a piece of road. In two places, the road is cracking for probably almost 400 yards, and it's a precipice going on into a river. And they came about 2 years ago, and they observed and they saw a wall had to be put there, an embankment wall or a reinforcement wall. And they came just last week with some bitumen, and they make me laugh because the place is so dilapidated. It's so bad. It's so whatnot. How could you come with bitumen and put on the road when you have to put an embankment wall and whatnot, etc.? All right, let's not make too much of a joke or whatnot over the NNP because very much so, the woman might just be the next prime minister. You all have a good day.
Take care.
Have a good day. Good day.
Okay, all right.
Okay, bro.
Vibes FM, next caller. Caller, come in. Caller, hello. Hello, what's up, caller? All right, okay. We're going to just take that off there. We just sort of lost that there. Okay, remind you again the numbers to call, and we have limited time. 4430101, 4430101, and also you can call 4030101. Next caller, come in.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kim, you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, yes.
Morning to the panel. Morning, everybody.
Morning, Mrs. How are you, sir?
Morning.
Good. Leo,
Yes.
what's going on?
Hi there, boy.
I just tuned in. I don't know if you talk about the your weekend yet, or if you're about to, about the races and stuff.
No, well, the honest truth is that we had a good time in Bekwe, but as far as winning race is concerned, we are bludgeoned. We want up to the test. You know, the guys in Bekwe have gone, I mean, they're far advanced in terms of crew work and equipment. Not that the boats are superior, you know, but we had to give into and try to, I think, two about them. But they're very well organized now. I was happy to see that. So, but
wow.
it was a lesson for us.
So, what Skylar come?
Skylar didn't place well because again, crew work. Not that the boat isn't good, but crew work. And the guys in Bekwe, they're sticking. I mean, they're sticking. They're ready.
Seriously.
Yes, it's a matter of amateurs against professionals, sort of a thing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And what about Ace?
Ace did well, but listen, the crew in Ace was one guy with experience and three guys who got on the boat for the first time. So the mere fact that they make it back to shore and close to the winning boat was a success.
Oh wow!
You know, I was like,
Caraco crew or what?
Well, yes, because you know Caraco, you know, we hardly have fellas, you know, and sometimes you expect in Skylar you had quite a few guys from Bekwe assisting, and just to make the things happen. But you see, we shot in Caraco as far as men racers and boatmen are concerned. We're very short. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're very short for it because I don't know if Caraco had to represent, like somebody to represent Caraco went up to go up there, or you did that.
Well, no, I went and had fun with my boys. I always do.
That is sad because they should have a representative to go up there, you know, to see if we could get back the guys to come back down in Caraco and race if ever you get a regatta again. And you know, just imagine when them man coming down from Bekwe with all them boat there. There's 100,000, 50,000 people coming down in Caraco. You know? I benefit in Caraco, so
well, it's unfortunate.
Definitely should.
It's unfortunate that wasn't realized the year before last. You see, we had six boats coming from Bekwe, you know, six long open boats. And what we contributed that same year was one 26-footer. And in response, they came back with 6 28-footers. But we didn't show the appreciation, so don't expect them to come again.
That is crazy. Yeah. So how much boats race this year? Like all them boats racing Bekwe this year? Or?
Oh yeah, we had seven long 28-footers. 7.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
7, 28-footers.
Yeah, because they passed on the regatta to the guys who we call the legends. And all the old timers came out, but they came out in nice numbers, and it was a pretty sight to see. The whole island is consumed with this regatta festival.
Wow.
Means a lot to them. It's so different to Caraco, but it is what it is.
Well, how much boats in total was participated?
You have well, we had 7 of the 28 footers, 2 of the 26 footers, and then there are 2 18 footers. The majority of them were the 28 footers, like the Skylers and the No Defense, Slip Away, Blackberry, Bluff, Double Bluff, and so on and so forth. And those guys, they made mention to them. We'll see what happens this year, but I don't know. But they're going full speed ahead.
Yeah, don't anything will happen. Well, I know. Don't anything. Well, we know it private. I know. This year it will be done too later already. But
Yeah. All right. Well,
my understanding. But
get
that's
Winod Pride
good,
ready.
man. That's good. I go up and have fun, man.
Caller, get Winod Pride ready now. You never know.
Well, listen. We're waiting on the higher ups. You know.
No man.
We know no conversation up to now about Regatta. Why is that?
Well, that is because
what's happening?
That is because you didn't start any conversation. Hello. That is because you didn't start any conversation. Not the higher
No,
ups.
we did.
You. No, with who?
No, we did. We did, but I mean, listen, the higher ups have to realize if they don't want Regatta happen and they don't want that people come in the island, that's fine. That's fine.
But
Regatta has drawn a lot of people, man.
Yeah,
listen,
but-
they people taking this thing real serious, and
Yeah, but-
you know that you've been up there.
They are. But you see, one of the problems that we have here with the boatmen that I observed over the years is that the money that they're using as an incentive to get them involved in it is the wrong idea.
Yeah, but hold on. Last year, Kim, all right, yeah, we had that, but that was settled last year, right? And everybody.
No, but
look
hold on.
what
now.
happened not last year, year before.
No, what's in it?
Right.
No, they're concentrating on prize money as to whether that would be able to finance the preparation of the boat and make them, interested in doing it. When it should be something different. It should be for love. We're not doing it for love anymore.
Yeah, but
we lost that.
Yeah, but hold on, Kim. This thing costs a lot of money too. You can't do it.
No.
Before time, right? Before time, when the old man used to do it, they used to use the boats, to
As a
work
work boat,
well.
as a work boat, right?
But no, it's costly, man.
Yeah,
so if you're getting help from the government or whatsoever, then that's good. Let's do the festival. Look what happened when we came out to Winod Pride. What the amount of people.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
So if you want to continue that tradition and that hype, and no, you should have a representative. Definitely have a representative going in big way and talk with them, man, and try to bridge back the relationship. And when them baker people coming down, 50,000 people coming down.
Yeah, but
coming in Carriacou.
I quite agree with you on that side of it. But what I'm trying to say to you is that when we make the monetary prize be the incentive, the issue, that's where we're losing it. We need to drop that off. Because in any sport, if you have a sport, listen, you're in a sport or maybe in a hobby or something of the nature like that, you put whatever is into it, you're watching that.
But Kim, listen, you go on.
No.
Go on.
Let me just say this.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me say something quickly there. Let me tell you something. In Vibes FM, if you think I make money, the issue for running the station, it will be off there tomorrow.
Yeah, but hold on, Kim. Listen,
You understand?
right?
You understand what
Listen
you understand what I just tell you? You understand that?
Right, but
The passion.
Yeah, but listen,
Because it's a passion.
The passion, what you love
Passion.
doing.
Okay, Kim,
What you love doing.
Kim, listen this, right? If all the festivals running in Carriacou, the Parang, the Carnival, all the other festivals running, and they're getting money, what's wrong with us getting money?
I'm not saying you shouldn't get a prize, but what I'm
You
saying is
understand?
that
You know much when Parang time come, Kim, you know much time you know much money these people making just to go on the stage and sing? And if we the boatmen were putting out so much money, it's a lot of money, Leo know. Leo sit down right there, if you put out so much money, I mean, come on.
Caller, all right, listen. We have enough time in future after we finish off this weekend to start talking regatta, and a lot of these issues will come up on the board. I invite you to stay tuned and be part of the conversation because I think you're going to have a very good input. Because
hold on, let me ask you something, Kim. You say, well, let's wait till this weekend over for the Maroon.
The Maroon is finishing up this weekend. But what I'm saying is that on our program today too, we have limited time because we're supposed to shut down at 12 o'clock. Okay, so I don't want to take up all of the time on that. So I'm not saying let's wait till this over. We have enough time to talk because I believe the conversation must start and we must be honest about what we're doing, and we have to be united in order for us to get some good product out there. That's the bottom line.
All right, no problem.
You understand?
We go talk again. I'll call back and we have to talk about this again.
And yes, and listen, and keep the idea in mind. We're not proud to come.
Well, wait, listen, we had to bring back because you had to sail on a fast boat, so we don't promise him that already.
Okay, take it. Nice talking to you. Okay. Let me take another line caller. Thank you for waiting. Caller, come in. Caller. Hello. All right. Okay. All right.
So Leo, I mean, you in the voting fraternity, using that expression, voting fraternity, other people are looking towards you to give us some leadership in the whole organizing and execution of the Regatta. Look, you just on your own. Nobody asked you to go up there, but you are accustomed to it all the time.
Well,
you were in Bakeway. Yeah. So I'm just saying, you again are being called upon.
But you see, different. Let me answer quickly for Leo because I want to take a call like quick. So Leo is passionate about the culture, the boating aspect, and he has developed a relationship with his colleagues, his sailors, owners, people in Bakeway and beyond. So in other words, when he goes up there because of the relationship they have established over the years. So Leo, I'm talking for you.
You're doing good so far. You're doing good so far.
Let me call it talk first. Caller, come in. Caller.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning, yes.
How are you doing, Uncle Leo? Why you have me cracking here?
What do again?
Yeah, no, we go laugh, we go entertain, we go make we joke. Nobody ain't gonna come in with way.
Sure.
The man, the one intended Prime Minister explain he don't want to put some flesh on the bone. But when he's done with that little cow, he must put on some flesh and cover the bone.
You're funny.
I say once he's skin and bones, but don't worry about it. You get a young cow to you go get fast. And the one in Northeast, he playing stay and the dog, he don't want to get off. I don't know who they go put down when he done with them. He must put on some hike. And the sacrifice lamb.
Yes, exactly.
Sacrificial lamb.
When that time they come, he do have 5 pounds of stress. So they take it. Oh God, that sounds there. Taking out all the stress on you, and I love it. But I just want to ask some of us Canadians who support the event. If they want to go back to a party that only have the favorite dish is to hold on project in the pipeline. Oh God, don't go back there.
I find so.
Go on, dig out project in the pipeline. No. Everything you have in the pipeline, you're going. And you see something to push out to unblock line, boy.
Yeah.
They unblock all the line, you know. Tell you all that in a love good day. I'll tell you all and then you have me cracking up, boy. You better find a name for the next one. You know?
Okay, love you, dear. Love you plenty.
Okay, darling. All right.
Oh boy.
I tell you, we're still a couple of years away.
Yeah.
And,
but we have to keep banging it because they're trying, you know.
Yeah.
They're trying, the NP trying, so we have to keep on banging. Keep them where they belong.
But I understand somebody was telling me that Diablo made an announcement that he's looking for want to replace him in
Northwest.
Northwest.
Tell him take him my boy in the beginning. Lacret. You could have Lacro. Take Lacro.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see what happens, but I honestly don't believe that he might be contesting again.
No, he can contest.
No, he can.
Well, I tell you, the only reason why he will not contest is that he see the writing on the wall.
Well, yes,
and he's not a foolish fellow.
Yeah, so in other words, when they would have lost or when they lose,
yes, because
then he would say it's not me, under me. We win all the time. So my record is win, except the last one.
I want him to contest and I want him to win, so that he'll be the leader of the opposition. And then
So you're saying that
Emily winning. So forget this.
Okay, right, so.
And when that happened,
I remember Emily is Mrs. Pierre
mm,
is coming up against David. David, the Minister of Education.
Mhm. That's going to be a tough battle because
Oh, is that David?
because he
David Andrew.
Okay, fine.
Because he didn't lose by much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the way he's been performing lately, or not lately, but ever since he's been in there, and he's getting more momentum as well too. It's gonna be imagine your leader lose.
Yeah, yes.
And I think again it's a concern for everybody because I mean in any game as that you'd want to secure your leader, so you'll put all the resources so that the leader can win. Yes, because it makes sense. You go into an election and your leader loses. So that is an interesting contest, and David seemed to be going all out as well. All out.
Listen to me. It's 40 years that Diablo has been in government, 20 plus as prime minister, and you have done nothing substantive to say, well, give me another term. Yet you're trying to do that. And if people can see that, something is wrong with you. So that is why my young fellow here, I know him well, I will very well want him to come and explain to me why you're talking about bringing back NNP in Carriacou. What have you done? Oh, it's easier to say what they didn't do. So
Well, I believe he's just trying to make himself known, but I think
that's not a good way to do it.
That's not really right. Yeah. That's it,
I find so.
Making this kind of statements that people would be questioning and trying to find out who is who and what you're doing.
And the tone of, in other words, you come back to rescue Carriacou again?
Yeah.
With an MP?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't think the slogan is rescue again.
No, that does it talk. You want to bring back Carriacou's glory days as it once was on the NNP.
Okay, so
and I don't remember those days.
So
and I hold on the boy.
That's a rescue mission. Bring
Yes,
them back to the glory days.
Yeah. And I'm much older than him, so but I have to talk to him whenever I see him because I think we have a fairly decent relationship. And I'd like him to come here and explain to the public what he benefited from NNP and what he'd like to see repeated in Carriacou on the NNP.
Repeated, you say?
Well, yeah, the good days, the glory days he's talking about, that I want him to explain to me. That's why he looking back for the glory days again, or is it a repetition?
But he looking back for the days, was he here?
Well, there was never glory days as far as I know. So I know he's looking for something that never happened.
Oh boy.
And you come back again, lawyer again?
Yes, next lawyer again.
By the way, every time I get an opportunity, Carriacou, you have my apology because I was instrumental in bringing the first lawyer.
Yeah, so you have to take that burden on
your shoulder. Yes, I have to do that.
Because, I mean, if it wasn't you go and beg and convince and bring people together and say, listen, you have to go. If that didn't happen, probably things would have been changed.
Wow.
In Carriacou now,
But we were running from the fire and
the frying pan.
Yes.
You running from the frying pan. And you didn't realize the fire was right
there. Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, that damage, I tell you. Carriacou is Humpy Dumpy, Humpy Dumpy. And remember what he said about Humpy Dumpy?
At a big fall?
Yes, and all the king horses, we can't get back together yet again, Carriacou is Humpy Dumpy, All the king horses and all the king men can put Carriacou back together again, Because of Humpy Dumpy? I mean, because of this is a lawyer?
Yeah.
You turn Carriacou into Humpy Dumpy? No, man. You can't do that. Get over with it. So, thank you for the moment. Yes, the gentleman.
So we're talking about the possibility of Cox, lawyer Cox, if I should say that, being a possible candidate for Carriacou. Yes? Now, what happened, Roland? What happens to the President Cox?
What
happened to the President Cox?
Well, let me tell you something. Through the grapevine, because I don't have any
antenna up yet?
Yeah, my antenna has been telling me, but I'll still that with. But I understand that when Diablo made his statement that he was looking for someone that Cox, the President Cox,
Senator Cox.
yeah, it was a possible to move there, you know. So that's what somebody was telling me. I don't know, you know.
Just say it again.
Speculating.
Say it again.
The Cox that is there now.
Yes.
Senator Cox.
Senator Cox, right.
Now, the statement was made that Diablo is looking for someone to represent in the Northwest. Okay?
Oh.
So now they're saying, now, if this Cox, the chairman Cox, decide to take up the mantle and be the candidate for Carriacou or caretaker or whatever
so
it
you
is.
go put current Cox in Northwest.
Yes. Put this other Cox in Northwest.
Oh, you from the south? North, from the south to the north.
Yes, I was about to say.
And then west now?
Southeast, northwest. This is when I want to travel the world. That's not a good thing to happen. But no. Well,
I ain't see that happening. I ain't see that happening.
Did I ever say that's truly grip, Rainer?
Well, yeah, you know, people talking.
Right,
people talking.
I just wanted to kind of.
You know, they start to speculate and start to make the suggestions, and you know, but I don't think that's a possibility. The possibility maybe in Carriacou of this Cox, the chairman Cox. The new Cox taking over.
Yeah,
I think is more likely.
What is take over?
Yeah, Molix.
Yes. Going under.
I can't wait.
Yeah, going under.
Oh God.
Wow.
Oh boy. Imagine that. We have to ask this intruder where he come from.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, where you been?
Well, but we had to hold the NDC together and work with our representative and our prime minister.
As all your the previous lawyer that you had influence on, if he comes as the lawyer, as a lawyer, he may just have to start from scratch, or the previous lawyer then came and got his feet wet for one term. He didn't win. And then he came back. So I'm just saying he may have to first get his feet wet. So this next election, the election there might not be his time.
Then you see, when we had the previous lawyer, Carol, who wanted a representative.
Yes.
But with this one now, we have a representative. Where you going?
Right. So you're right about that, you know. When he came back in was 95.
Was a void.
Yeah.
Nicholas. So Nicholas.
Yes.
Buffett asked. What was the MP for?
I was the emissary. You go and find somebody, boy. Yeah. We need somebody because this politics thing, I didn't like it. That was Mr. Buffett. One term. So get somebody.
Yeah.
And I was sold on the fact that I knew my boy from way back when we Googled, and I thought he had Carriacou hat. But he wasn't.
You didn't have Carriacou hat?
No, I find so.
Okay.
Because to contribute to the division that took place in Carriacou, I am telling you that wasn't burial. At least burial you could build back. It would take us a little time, but we could build back.
So
but it's a long time, okay, I could divide and you're coming back, you know.
So you had Mitchell make a mistake?
Big time.
So we had to blame you for that?
Well,
no, not only blame.
But I honestly accept the blame. So I beg pardon. I want to get. I beg pardon. So this is really.
So going forward, make sure you think twice before you respond.
Well, that's why you see I'm spending so much time on the radio trying to make up for the wrong that I did, you know. That's a big mistake, you know. So I could
a lifetime mistake.
Yes, I could a lot of work to bring back Carriacou the way it was. Just imagine the same people ain't coming you dead because of politics. You ever had this foolishness? Dead in Carriacou. Wow. Carriacou, they're not the Carriacou that I know and grew up in.
That's not the same Maroon country.
No, I'm telling you.
The Maroon concept is togetherness, you know. Working together, you know. Helping each other, you know.
And but we better pay attention to what's happening, you know. You see, Carriacou nowadays becoming the home of very heinous crimes, you know.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Without making a whole to-do of it, but we have to accept what is happening in Carriacou.
Yeah.
I remember years ago when I was in America and They tell me two persons got
on Paradise Beach then?
Yes. I jump ahead and say, well, that has to be a foreigner. That can happen in Carriacou by a Carriacouan.
Right.
And I was wrong as 2 left feet.
Yep.
So you see, but again, all these things, the kind of a society that we've been growing. When you want the fast life, or you want to walk, or whatever the story is, you have a lot of 20 years old men in this Carriacou here collecting pension, you know.
Yeah.
20? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean 20 years from 1 to 20?
1 to 20 years.
Okay.
They go from school to pension, but they ain't walking. They know how to walk. So what you
School
expect?
to pension.
Yes. After the leave school is pension. Think about it.
No, Sully is right.
And by the time we start making noise and quarreling, you know, or going on here, going good, you know.
Anyway, gentlemen.
Yes,
Just
sir.
about the time.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We are recorded a little bit short today, you know. And I apologize to our listeners, you know, that this was circumstances beyond our control.
Shortened version, all right.
Shortened version today, you know. But it's always exciting, it's always informative, always entertaining to be here on our program. We share a lot of information with our audience, and they enjoy it as well too.
Very good.
And not only we share, but at least very importantly, they share a lot of information with us because, you know.
Well, I'll conclude by saying thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to get some information, very important information to our people, because as you know, with all Vibes 101.3, we will be 92.1.
9?
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, I didn't know.
Sacrificial lamb.
You see, there's always, when you're doing something, do it pursuant to a business plan, not a malice plan.
Right.
When you approach a business pursuant to a malice plan, you cut your throat.
Call your final words.
Oh, my final word today has been that, you know, I think it was short, but I get a lot of information out of it. I think a lot of ideas also came, and I look forward to another time. And well, let's enjoy our Maroon Festival. I've not said this string band part because that's natural. Once you hear the music start playing, you'll move your feet. So let's enjoy the Maroon, and let's make that effort to try and understand the depth of its meaning and how we can apply it to our lives every day.
Well,
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you for the shortened version, because today for lunch I expect Kuku and Kalalu, so you can come quick enough.
Yeah?
Yes. Close it right now.
The views expressed in this program are those of the host and guests and not the views of this radio station.
And that will just wrap up our program for today, right here on Vibes FM. We thank you so much to those of you callers who participated in the conversation. And those of you on radio, those of you on YouTube, on Facebook, or wherever you are on the internet, thank you so much once again. Vibes FM, Speak Out Unfiltered, every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And today was a shortened version of it. So until then, I'm your humble servant, yours truly, Kim the King. It's always a pleasure being with you.